Best triple 486. Bowls at the Hanson Athletic Association and the Hanover Bowlodrome as well.
And a 666 in the roll-off earned Hugh Ferguson the number 3 seed in this ladder series. A 671 in the roll-off earned our number 2 seed, Joe Schifferdecker from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Joe coming in with an average of 120. High single 195. 495 best triple, and he bowls in the town he lives in, Cambridge, at Lanes and Games.
Should be a great match. Let's get right to it. It's Hugh Ferguson and Joe Schifferdecker when we come back to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We began with 5 terrific bowlers in this ladder series. We're down to 3. Hugh Ferguson taking on Joe Schifferdecker this afternoon with Ryan Tripp waiting in the wings, and we're ready to go from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire with Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Hugh Ferguson will be first to bowl this afternoon. And there he is. And that's how he starts, with a pretty good first ball. Hugh is 56 years old, a Teamster truck driver for the Boston Globe. He and his wife Pam married 37 years, son Glenn 37, son Ross 34, and he starts off with a spare. 350 to 348. Last week's score as Hugh eliminated Sean McKinley. From an artistic standpoint, not great bowling. From an excitement standpoint, went right down to the wire.
Terrific finish. He needed 8 pins in the 10th box, and that's what he got.
Moving over to lane 33. Good first ball. There it is. Now Joe Schifferdecker from Cambridge. This is not his first time on television. Been on our show once before a few years ago. Been on other shows on other stations a half a dozen or so times. A salesman for First Office Concepts, designs and sells office space modular pieces. That's what he does for his profession. Throws a good ball and a spare. That'll get the butterflies loosened up right away, if there were any to begin with. And in most cases there are. Watch it again. That's a nice shot. Played to the outside of the head pin, and great mixing action by the wood. So both bowlers open with marks. Puts 5 in the spare. Mike Moran passes along interesting notes on the bowlers as he talks to them prior to their appearance on the air, and the homework that he does in getting ready for the show. And Joe Schifferdecker, interesting note about Joe, he held the distinction as the bowler with the most letters in his name in the history of the Channel 5 bowling show.
Everybody's got to be known for something, Dick. As you'll see, we were able to squeeze all the letters in our computerized scoring card that you'll see here in just a moment. All 3 letters in Joe and 14 in Schifferdecker. There they are. Almost ran out of screen space.
Got it all there.
If you got HD TV or if you got a wider screen, you can see it all.
Hugh Ferguson works on a double mark. That's a good first ball. He's looking at $50 in bonus money right off the bat. We give $50 for 3 marks in a row. Our triple strike jackpot's up to $750. We have $40 in the bonus ball contest at the end of the match. We're just bursting at the seams with cash to give away. He played the wood, missed the shot. Interesting way to go after that pin. Maybe he didn't feel he had a clear enough shot at it from the angle that he takes.
Once again, we have a microphone set up at the scorer's table in the settee area where the bowlers linger, and Joe Schifferdecker is talking a little bit to some of the people in the immediate vicinity, picking up the sounds of the game.
49 through 3 for Hugh Ferguson. We'll get to some cards and letters and emails during the course of the match. He's right on the head pin. He's got the 7 and 10 to show for his effort right here. I want to remind you that Candlepin Stars and Strikes is presented by McMulkin Chevrolet, by Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, and McMulkin Cadillac, all of Nashua, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the games of the New Hampshire State Lottery Commission. Look at that shot by Hugh Ferguson. What a spare, picking up the 7-10. with the wood. Watch it again. The 7-10. There's the wood sitting out there, and just spray that wood and see what happens. And he converts the 7-10. I mentioned the sponsors of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. If you'd like to join the family, we'd love to have you with us. If you'd like more information about becoming a sponsor on Candlepin Stars and Strikes and perpetuating the great game of candlepin bowling in New England, we'd love to hear from you. Call the station at 603-434-8850. And they'll be happy to provide you with any information that you may require. At 603-434-8850. If you would like to become part of Candlepin Stars and Strikes as a participating sponsor on the #1 rated show on this station, week after week, year after year, Candlepin Stars and Strikes, we'd love to have you with us. Nice spare by Joe Schifferdecker. Right on the head pin again was Joe. Put 7 in the mark.
Joe's passion in life, he's got 2 of them actually. He loves to travel, been to Europe, says here, about 10 times. And he loves photography. Interesting, he's got house shoes on. They must be his. Those are, rental shoes.
Yeah.
It's got the number 10 on the back there.
And he's got the spare. They obviously do the job.
Have to ask him about that later. I mean, the rental shoes are a lot more flexible. They're a little bit thinner. They're not as stiff as the shoes that you might buy from, who knows, a shoe store.
Well,
or maybe he sold them.
Could very well be.
Joe, bring them back. Busted.
Hugh working on a spare. Good first ball. Tough leave. The 5, the 6, and the 10. Wood in front of the 6 and 10. Do you play the wood and try to spray something, or do you try and slide that 5 pin over into the wood? Let's see how he approaches it. Going after the wood. Tries to bank the wood off the wall. Gave it a great effort. Didn't make the spare. Now he's got a shot at the 5-10 with some wood. And he'll make the 10 box. That's a great 10 by Hugh Ferguson, the 76 half. Watch it again as he played the wood perfectly. The ball will hit the wood and bounce off into the 10 pin, taking it high. Moving over to lane 33, Hugh Ferguson. This one's off the head pin. You could hear Hugh scream at the ball as it left his hand. 4 horsemen right side, the 7 and the 8 in the back row. Lots of wood in the back to help out. There's a couple of 3 sticks of wood laying on the plate back there. Got a shot at it. Nope, not going to make it. So Hugh will be open. In the 5th and 6th frames. It's an 8 box.
I'd like to invite everybody to the Rock and Bowl event fundraiser for the kids from Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill. Send them up to Canada for their annual competition this year at Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. It's a 4-day weekend series. Takes them 800 miles away into another country to compete against their Canadian friends. It's a great time, but it does take a lot of money. So Dick and I personally invite you to come out, watch all the fun. You get to bowl with your favorite pros. You get to meet them, get autographs. The kids will get to bowl with some of the biggest stars that you see on our show. And then as part of it, Dick and I will have our annual grudge match. This will be our 6th year, and 5 years so far. Dick leads the series 3 games to 2. So we'll see if I can even it up this year or if Dick takes a commanding 2-game lead. It all happens from 9 to 1 at Pilgrim Lanes Sunday the 20th of February. That'll be a couple weeks from now.
We got to make that trip to Canada one of these years.
I did one year, actually, and believe it or not, I didn't drive. I didn't take the bus. I drove. My daughter and I went, and it's a great time. We enjoyed the camaraderie of not only the Canadian bowlers, but of course the kids from Pilgrim Lanes. So I have a date with you, my friend, on the 20th of February.
61 half for Joe Schifferdecker. He's 15 pins behind through completed boxes. That's a good first ball, and look what stares back at him. Got the 3-6 on the right, the 7 on the left. The wood behind the 6 pin, not apparently a factor, at least doesn't appear to be. Could ricochet off something and come back and do some damage. And look at this. He almost made it.
I'd like to share a little story that Bart Medeiros, who's one of the great coaches at Pilgrim Lanes, shared with me. Caitlin Zaleski won the 2004 Youth Candlepin Championship for the girls at the Portsmouth Bowl-O-Rama. When he called her after verifying the official scores, she was very excited, as you might imagine, and he told her that he was talking to the 2005 girls champ, and she says, "Does that mean I won?" He said, "Yes, you won a $500 scholarship," and there was like 5 seconds of silence, and about 5 seconds later she says, "Does that mean I don't get a trophy?"
She won that trophy.
So it's the bowlers love the competition and the trophies, and it's nice when they can get a little money for their college schooling as well.
The parents like the money. The parents like the $500 scholarship.
$500 buys you about 3 books, as you know, because you've got a son in college these days.
And a daughter. As a 9-box, moving over to lane 33, the left-hand lane, which is through, breaks up the half Worcester, and ends up with the 1, 3, 4, 7. Wants to put the ball between the 1 and the 3, kick the 1 into the 4 into the 7. It's not going to happen.
Looks like he was attempting to make it from the outside instead of the inside, as you suggested. You can do it either way. Both are very difficult.
We'll take the 2 on the left and settle for a 9-box. Trying to climb the ladder. Ryan Tripp is the #1 seed waiting in the wings. And, of course, the winner of the ladder series advances to the Tournament of Champions, joining 3 great bowlers who are already there.
Jeff Surratt, Dave Hodge, and Craig Holbrook. We'll have 6 bowlers. We'll begin that series sometime in April. So it actually runs 5 weeks instead of the usual 4.
Well, Joe Schifferdecker's got a piece of wood in the middle of the lane. That's the play right there. That's what he's going after, and the 10-pin still stands. Watch out, that piece of wood's going to have a lot of speed going to it.
Be too much in front of it, though.
Oh, just missed it.
Both our bowlers today coming in with averages of 120.
Joe missed the head pin. You can see him kind of express his displeasure with his body language, but he got a good break.
Got a great fill or a great fall.
The 1 and the 3 stand. There you go. He got him from behind. Came in the back door.
Very lucky.
Is that how you plan on beating me now?
Whatever it takes.
Oh, Hugh was trying to get that piece of wood to spin around and kick out that 4-pin, but it didn't do it.
A couple of friends here with Hugh Ferguson he wanted us to say hello to today, Dick. Gene Zapkowska, I hope is how you pronounce that. Gene, hello and welcome. And Dick Squires. Gene and Dick, happy to have you along here at Leda Lanes, where our next taping will be Tuesday, the 8th of February. If you'd care to join us in the not-too-distant future, we begin at 10 in the morning, do 4 shows. It's absolutely free coffee, free donuts, and a lot of great bowlers to meet and enjoy.
We have not given away any bonus money yet in this first string. Will that 7-pin go? It will wobble, but will not go.
Almost had another 7-10 that he converted a little bit earlier in this game.
Now he's got the piece of wood leaning on the 7 halfway in the gutter. Wants to keep that ball out of the gutter. That's the key right here. He's got it.
Just barely sneaking ahead of Mike Poulin and Sean McKinley and Chris Sargent for that #3 spot. He had 66. Poulin and McKinley each with 665.
Good first ball. 9-pin fill in the spare. And a 121 first string for Hugh Ferguson.
131, actually.
131. Joe Schifferdecker with some work to do. He's working on a spare. He could use a couple of marks to close out the first string to get close. It's a good first ball. Can he break up the split? No, he cannot. Put 7 in the spare. Gave it a great shot. He made a great run at it and could not convert, so he'll be open in the 9th. And he's down a mark. 9 box. 107 for Schifferdecker. A mark here would put him within a mark after 1.
He's tried many times to get on the show. Very often in the top 10, just a few pins out of the show range, but he's finally made it this time around and did it in a second seat position.
Well, he missed the head pin, but he's got a good spear opportunity here, especially with that piece of wood in the back, which will help out with the sleeper pin. Got the 1, 3, 5, 6. This is the head pin. That was the key to the shot. Open in the 10th. He is at 115, 116, 117. First string for Joe Schifferdecker. A 14-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson over Joe Schifferdecker after 1. We're coming back for string number 2 when we return to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
It's the 1, 2, 4 with a piece of wood frozen against the 4-pin.
Going to get to some of your cards and letters during the string, as we've accumulated a few since the last taping and Joe not able to convert. I want to remind you that we have a terrific crew working here at Leda Lanes, making it all possible for you to watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and they do a great job. Our director is Kevin LaFawn. Keith Webb is our engineer. Craig Amabello, Larry Haber, and Tanya Perry are our camera crew. Chuck Lothrop's on replay. Eric Angra is on audio, and Steve Kenny handling graphics. And they make it possible for you to watch the finest candlepin bowlers in the world each and every week on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Good first ball that time by Joe Schifferdecker.
Yeah, that pin lines up nicely for him right between the 5 and the 6. The other pin is the 10. Not an easy shot, but very makeable. Couldn't catch a break. The 10-pin remains. Joe Schifferdecker was number 42 in the WCBC rankings for the season 2003 and 2004. 42nd.
2 emails from 2 ladies. One is from Jennifer DiBiasio, who bowled on this show in the mixed doubles, and another is from Ruth Cohen from Shrewsbury. And to paraphrase both of their emails, we've addressed this issue in the past and we'll address it again. Why are there not more shows for women on Candlepin Stars and Strikes? And I guess the answer is there really is no answer. There's really no specific reason for it. We try to accommodate as many women as we can during our mixed doubles competition, which we put on for one ladder series in the month of December. And it's just the way it has happened, and doesn't mean that it can't be changed in the future or won't be changed in the future. Just the way it's been. And we certainly understand your concern and appreciate your question, and hopefully down the road that'll change.
We'd love to see women's ladders, and we'd like to see teens as well. I think it'd be fun to have, we get requests for kids bowling, and that hasn't been a reality. But you never know.
Well, this is a good shot by Hugh, trying to pick up the spread eagle.
3 and the 10 remain.
We'd love to hear from you. Our mailing address, if you want to send us a note through the U.S. mail, is Candlepin Stars and Strikes, 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. You can send a card or a letter to Leda Lanes. That's L-E-D-A, Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03063. Or you can send us an email to the email address that you see on the screen right now. And we'd love to hear from you wherever you watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We know a lot of people tape the show and send it to friends and relatives all over the world. And for those of you who are watching it out of our immediate area, we would love to hear from you, even if it's a few months after the fact. We'd love to know where you watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We had one note that we made reference to last week from Iraq, a soldier in Iraq who gets the tape sent to him, and he watches our shows. Sure, it's a couple of months after the fact, but he gets to watch Candlepin bowling. We've had a lot of communications from Florida, from California, from people who get tapes sent to them.
I think Florida's the #1 out-of-state destination for our tapes.
Nice shot. Hugh Ferguson on lane 34. Missed the head pin.
Hugh Ferguson in search of his first mark this string after a pretty good 131 game. First match.
Speaking of a soldier in Iraq, I got a note, an email from Tim Lipke after he appeared on our show last ladder series. You'll recall that he brought in photos of a soldier in Iraq who had set up Candlepin bowling in the desert. And Tim wrote to thank us for putting that on and showing it, and it brought Candlepin bowling alive in that part of the world as they built a Candlepin bowling lane in the heat of battle over in Iraq. It was great to see. And we thank you, Tim, for bringing that to our attention and giving us the opportunity to put those pictures on the air. Tim, of course, the proprietor of Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, along with his wife, Wendy.
And he was in the mixed doubles not too long ago.
Yep. Things are not going well for Hugh in this string. He'll be open through 4.
But with only 1 mark for Schifferdecker, he's pretty much able to tread water and stay with him.
That'll be a 9 box, and we'll go to the break with Joe Schifferdecker working on a spare when play resumes as we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Joe Schifferdecker will be first to bowl as we come back from the break, working on a spare. He trails by 10 pins, minus what he gets on this ball, first ball. He throws a half Worcester.
Half Worcester filling his 4th box spare. The 6-pin game lead, but trailing Hugh Ferguson by 8 overall.
That was a great shot by Joe Schifferdecker. We should tell you that during the last break, the commercial break that we just had, we had a little bit of a delay in getting restarted as Hugh Ferguson cramped a little bit and asked for a little bit of a timeout. And after conferring with Joe Schifferdecker, we waited for about 7 or 8 minutes before we resumed to give Hugh Ferguson a chance to recover from the cramps he was experiencing.
Schifferdecker was gracious enough to allow him to take those couple of minutes that he needed.
So we'll see how that plays out, if in fact it's a factor down the stretch. Ironically, the first ball that Schifferdecker threw after the lengthy break was that half Worcester fill on a spare. And he took a 9. He threw a good first ball. It could be knocked away. It could knock into the pin. He's got to play it, and there it goes. It just knocked away. The ball is still in play. Goes into the gutter. The ball should come out of the gutter before he shoots the ball, but he's going to shoot it. Then they're going to let him go get. They're going to have him go down and get the ball. The ball needs to be removed. All right, now Hugh goes for the 10 box, and he missed it. That'll be a 9. Ferguson had a 14-pin lead after the first string. That ball will miss the head pin. 4 horsemen left side, right side rather, with a piece of wood in the back, rolling away.
Bowling over 50 years. He is 56 years of age and goes by the entire 4 pins on the right side.
We talked about people who have been watching Candlepin bowling getting tapes after they move away from the area or sending tapes to people who are out of the country. Here's a note we got from Mary and Walt Bulka from Margate, Florida. Although we left New Hampshire and retired to South Florida 18 years ago, we continue to follow our favorite Candlepin bowlers thanks to you and Candlepin Stars and Strikes and our son who tapes the show for us every week. We've often wondered if you ever thought about inviting Don Gillis out of retirement for a guest appearance when he's in New England. It would be nice to hear him tell us to hold on to your tray tables one more time. Happy New Year to you and all our old friends who haven't croaked yet. Best regards, Mary and Walt Bulka, Margate, Florida.
Well,
I'm not sure that Don Gillis comes north very often, to be honest with you.
I don't know that he does. And, of course, we'd love to have him if he ever were up here on tape. But reference there, of course, is the show is on as ours is at noon. And a lot of people watch and eat lunch.
Have their lunch right in front of the tube.
You got it.
I did it for years when I was a kid. A lot of people still do.
Well, there's the same thing, a mirror image of the 5-7. This time it's a 5-10. Piece of wood really is not any help for Schifferdecker. Only one mark, Dick, between these two bowlers.
You know, I'm not sure that piece of wood's not a factor. You might go at it.
I mean, he's probably going to use it, but
go at it and spray it and see what happens. See if the ball takes another. No, you put it right between. It's such a hard shot to make purely.
Just to cut it over?
Yeah, you just take your shot, hit the wood, and see if the ball deflects on the one way, like he's going to do right there. Well, missed the head pin. And a mess. The 1, the 4, the 7, and the 9. No wood. This is a tough shot. Right between. He found the opening.
I see him rearing up sometimes at the line, and I'm just thinking that could be aggravating whatever cramping that he's experiencing in his legs.
And he takes 2 on the left for an 8 box. Hugh looking for his first mark of the second string. There's a good first ball for Hugh, and will it be a strike? No. The 6-pin wobbles.
And that wood should be helpful if he misses it to the right, but not too much. Pin should guide it right in.
He's right on the pin. He'll take the spare. First mark of the string.
I'm not sure what you can do to help yourself undo a cramp or a muscle problem.
You should bring your own trainer with you.
I guess. I drink a lot of liquid. That is one important thing.
Schifferdecker will be open. Schifferdecker.
What'd you call him?
Schifferdecker. I'm thinking of the Fisher Cats.
I'm sure he's been called worse than that.
Joe Schifferdecker. Well, he threw it past the head pin and got a heck of a break.
Held on to it just a bit too long. Skip lob leaving the 1, 3, 9, and 10. And there's a couple pieces of wood on the deck. The one against the 10 pin would be the most helpful.
Nope, not going to make it. Open frame, 10th box, under 100 for Joe Schifferdecker.
We're going to see Ryan Tripp next week. Saw him in the doubles not too long ago. Mixed doubles.
And the head pin. You can hear him. He's talking to those pins. Hit the 7, 8, 10. Wood rolling off to the right side will roll off the deck into the channel. You still got a lot of wood on the deck. You got that one piece in the middle that's staring right back at you. And 2 more, one against the 7 pin, one near the 8 pin. There it is. That's a great shot. Great shot by Hugh Ferguson to pick up that spare. Watch it again. Watch how he used the wood. The ball comes in, just clips the piece of the front wood. That went flying over to take the 10-pin. The 7 and 8 get wiped out, and it's a mark, and he's going for bonus money. Missed the head pin. Puts just 5 in the spare. He will win the string. He will at least keep his 14-pin lead and add a couple of pins to that. Whoa, how's that for a spare? That's a $50 shot by Hugh Ferguson.
Boy, that'll make a cramping leg feel better. All of a sudden.
How unlikely was that with that leave? That was a great shot. Great shot by Ferguson. $50 bonus money shot. He is at 102 plus this ball. So it'll be a 19-pin lead plus whatever he puts on the ball. And he puts 7 in, so he leads by 26 pins after 2 strings. It's a 109 second string for Hugh Ferguson. A 26-pin lead over Joe Schifferdecker. As we head to string number 3, we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Mike and I have a lot of fun doing it. We hope you enjoy it half as much as we do. 9-pin drop for Hugh Ferguson, who ended the second string with 3 marks in a row. Put $50 in his wallet. Looks to start out the 3rd string with a mark and add a little cushion to his lead. Missed it. The pin came too far out, and he was not able to convert.
Kate Nichols, our in-house scorekeeper again this week. Recent record holder of the women's 3-string total of 424. She's 18 years of age. Has an interest in becoming a WCBC participant here in the not-too-distant future. And with a 424 under her belt at 18, I think she's going to do just fine.
Got another email here, Mike, regarding our conversation that we had several weeks back about bowlers who held a bowl in their non-shooting hand.
Yes.
And went to the line with a ball in each hand. This from Ronald Scribner of Newburyport, Massachusetts. On the 3rd mixed double show, you mentioned that some people had hold a second ball in the offhand for balance. I've been bowling sporadically since I was a child, but have just joined my first league, a new company league at Park Place Lanes, at 39 years old. Holding a second ball is a habit I picked up as a teen bowling with my family and have done it ever since. I must say it has raised a few eyebrows in the league I currently bowl in, as most of the bowlers have never seen that done before. A few of the other bowlers have tried it in warm-ups but found it uncomfortable, whereas I am uncomfortable without it. That from Ronald Scribner in Newburyport, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Dick, don't you think it's more of a habit than it is balance?
Nice shot by Joe Schifferdecker. Yeah, I think it becomes a mind over matter type of thing. You get used to doing it one way. Watch it again. Schifferdecker in the 1-3 pocket. Interestingly, the ball hit the pin and then just went through and didn't touch anything else. You saw on the replay.
Big split after a nose hit. Pretty flush. Leaves the 2, 4, 7, and 10, and there's no wood to help him out. Working on a strike.
Take 2 on the left. I don't know if it's possible to call up that replay of that strike that Schifferdecker had again. It was fascinating to watch the ball. It hit the head pin and found its way through without ever touching another pin. It was really bizarre. Right through the middle. Breaks up the spread eagle by knocking the 10-pin out, but otherwise we'll watch that strike right after Hugh Ferguson's next ball. And watch the ball as it hits the pin and see where it goes. You'd think it's impossible for it to miss everything, but it does. Watch this strike again by Joe Schifferdecker. If we can get a caller. Here it is. Watch the ball. And right through the opening. See that? Right through. It didn't touch anything. It was really crazy. $7 for Hugh.
Well, Joe's going to need a few more marks. He can't really rely on Hugh Ferguson not making any of his. He needs to get a little bit more aggressive to make up the 26 pins that he began this game as a deficit with.
Hugh will have the 4 horsemen on the left side. The 4-pin knocked off spot by a little bit, but it's between a piece of wood and the 7-pin, which should not be a factor. The 1 and the 2 are the 2 pins that count most right here. You got to get those before you worry about the 4 and the 7. Oh, it got it knocked off spot anyway.
Geez.
Wow.
That was bizarre.
The 4-pin did not go down initially.
Here, you got to watch that leg kick, pal.
Yeah.
He gave it a big kick.
I saw. Here's the shot. Watch the 4-pin off spot.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and then the pin comes across the lane to wipe it out. Being off spot prevented it from going down the first time. Here's Schifferdecker. The 7-10.
And the wood is all going to fall right off the plate.
There
and
it goes.
He doesn't get any help. Nearly impossible.
The best way to make this shot is shoot the ball as fast as you can right down the middle of the lane and hope the wind pulls both of them over.
Is that it, Coach?
So the 7-10, and it will be a 9 box.
So he's actually, Dick, in completed boxes, pulled back 4 pins of the initial 26 that he was down by, but he's now against a spare.
Needs to mark here. Very important that he mark here.
He's pounding the head pin, too, but he's getting some bad breaks.
That's a little bit of a skip lob, and got a pretty good break there.
You'd like that 1 pin to
You
fall.
would like that pin to go. It does go.
And creates a little bit more traffic in front of the 6, 9, 10.
Now you got a double wood there, which is not always the most ideal situation. The pin that's the question mark here right now is the 9 pin.
Yeah, I agree.
And he went, and that's the one he gets. And he'll settle for a 9 box. And we go to the break with Hugh Ferguson ahead of Joe Schifferdecker by 24 pins plus a ball. We come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. The spare. It's a pretty good ball, too. It's an 8-pin drop. So the lead shoots up to 31.
Hugh is a member of the NBA, Mass Bowling Association State Open Team back in 1983. State champion, 2nd place in singles behind Don Richmond as well.
So Hugh Ferguson seems to have recovered from the cramp problem that forced a slight delay in the match. Puts a couple of marks together. He has a pretty good sized lead heading down the home stretch. It's right on the head pin there too, trying to break up the split. He's going to put 5 in the spare as that 3-pin continues to wobble. Is it going to fall? Can't make up its mind.
Finally stops wiggling. No, it still is moving, isn't it?
Still moving. Not going to make the spare.
Well, the one pin that kept wiggling is the one that still stands.
Now it goes 10 bucks. Well, Joe Schifferdecker with some work to do here. A veteran bowler from Cambridge. Been bowling since he was 4 years old. Half Worcester on the right side. Second half Worcester of the string.
Very frustrating for Joe Schifferdecker. It's his first time on TV in a number of years. And just never really quite got it going yet today. His games of 117 and 97. Bowling out of lanes and games in Cambridge. Right there on Route 2.
671 in the roll-off, which lets you know that he's very capable of rolling some big scores.
He's the real deal, no doubt about it.
He needs to mark, though. He needs to start running the table. That's right on the head pin, and look what he has to show for it. Not much. Got the 2, 4, 6. Tough shot. Ooh, he cut it too thin. Almost impossible to do what he just did, but he did it. Cut it too fine. Cut it in front of the pin across. Oh, and now he'll take a 9 box. A 38-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson with 4 boxes remaining.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
You could hear Joe that time.
Yeah, said this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel badly for the guys who were just saying. Very frustrating.
Hugh Ferguson right on the head pin. Can't break up the split. 4, check it, the 6, 7, 10. A couple pieces of wood on the deck. Nope, not going to make it. And a 10 box.
Barring some multiple strikes, this may be about it for Joe Schifferdecker.
He was one of the more deliberate bowlers that we have on the show. It takes a lot of time between shots.
It's the 5 and the 8, and no pins on the deck.
Nope, not going to make it. He'll be open. The door is ajar a little bit for Joe Schifferdecker, but he really has to take advantage of it. He really needs to put some marks on the board. And that's a skip lob and a 9 box. And a 94. All right, now Joe Schifferdecker, in order to make it interesting, needs to put some marks on the board right now in order to have any chance at all. 57 pins. The difference, of course, Ferguson's bowled 2 more boxes. Joe having trouble finding the head pin, but he got a good break. It's a makeable shot. The 1, the 2, the 9. Not an easy shot, but it's makeable. You can play it one of 2 ways, inside or outside the head pin. Got it. Nice shot. Well done. Second mark of the string for Schifferdecker. And he breathed a little life. Watch it again. He played it. The ball took out the 9 pin. A strike here could make things a little bit interesting. Missed the head pin. Puts just 5 in the spare.
Still going to be 30-some pins down with only 2 boxes to go.
Open frame for Joe Schifferdecker in the 8th. It does not look good right now for Joe.
Ryan Tripp standing by. Our runner-up today takes home $550 in prize money, plus any bonus money that may have accumulated.
34 pins the margin with 2 boxes remaining. Hugh Ferguson will not spare. We'll have to keep it here to see if we have any kind of a shot at giving away some bonus money or prize money or triple strike money. $9 box for Hugh. right on the head pin and straight through, leaving a split. Another open frame for Hugh Ferguson in the 10th frame. He is at 111. And a 112 for Hugh in the 3rd string, and a 3-string total of 352. 2 pins better than his triple last week, which was 2 pins better than Sean McKinley's 348. And it appears as though Hugh Ferguson will win again with just a fair to middle and triple score. Once again, Joe Schifferdecker off the head pin. Another spare opportunity, though, with just the 1-2 standing.
Well, poor Joe, when he's been hitting the head pin, he's splitting, and then the other times he misses, and that's what you get. And that will do it. It will be Hugh Ferguson advancing to take on Ryan Tripp next week at Leda Lanes for the ladder championship and the berth in the Tournament of Champions.